What's up, guys? Good morning, good afternoon.
So
Hey, Susan. Hi, Erica. Um, Sweet. Guys, this is our first epic call of 2026, which is very exciting. And I get to host it because Trevor's on another call right now trying to spread the word. He's hanging out with Matt Kemp and Deal Machine, Dave Letko doing something over there. So, but today we're going to bring Brad on. He's doing lots of awesome stuff with On Page, with his content strategy. And I think it'll just be fun to couple questions back and forth with him, hear a little bit about how he's doing things, a couple tactical things, but then we definitely want to open it to Q&A. So hopefully you're here because you have content and on-page questions that we can hurl at him. But before we dive in, I want to bring up just a couple of housekeeping things here. The biggest one, we're getting lots of messages about intensive, which I love. I've got 4 or 5 of you who have already bought your tickets, which I love even more. So it's very exciting. We've got an email going out this afternoon and tonight, and then we'll post it in the group as well, with all that information in one place. So dates, we've got a link for some special room block pricing we've got for the hotel that we're staying at and where we're hosting the rest of the event. Just a couple quick notes about things to consider when you're getting ready to pack. I know it's a little ways away, but these things do move quick. So we'll get that email out tonight, and you guys can respond to the email, shoot me a text message, reach out to Susan, however, whatever makes the most sense, so we can get your tickets rolling for you. Next week, our call on Wednesday, we're going to send I think I'm going to do a separate email just because I want to make sure that it's got its own subject line and you guys see it and maybe use it as a test for your EAs. But we want your EAs there next week. We want you to invite them, bring them on the call. CEOs, founders, you should be there as well. If you don't have an EA, I still think there's important stuff for you to learn on how your management system is going to be built. And when you eventually have an EA, you're going to want this. But it's like 70% for your EAs. So if you've got one, make sure they're available for next week's call. I will let them in as they're coming. So just tell them, share the link with them from the call, and then I'll let in those people when we get started. But going to be a full start to finish roadmap of once you have an EA, where do you even start? How do you get up to? Trevor was talking with one of his one-on-one clients who's had an EA for 8 years, and this training that we put together came directly from that chat of getting that person up to speed and where they should have been quite a while ago, and the difference that made for that relationship and that dynamic. That's what we're going to bring for you next week. Last thing I'm going to ask from you guys, I can't recall if Trevor got a message out over the last few weeks, but we've got an intention to go all in this next year. We want to impact a lot more people if possible. Trevor's writing a book, several books, but we're going to try and get him across the finish line on the first book, and then we'll get the next one coming. Bunch of content initiatives, things we want to double down on. And one of the ways that we can make that impact is by bringing a few more people into the program. And the best way for us to do that is to hear from you guys and the reason that you're here and how it's impacted you guys, the wins you've had. If you can share those things, that's incredible. And that's the best way for us to let other people see what it's doing, why it's different from other programs, and why it's worth them listening to. So ideally, just send me a text message, send me a video message, just hold your phone up. Hey, what's up? Here's who I am. Here's why I'm doing this. Here's why I think it's important to other entrepreneurs. That'd be amazing and awesome way for me to share that out there and get a few other people in the group. So those are my notes for the day. Anybody have any wins they want to start to call off with today? Anything over the last couple of weeks or holiday season they can share?
actually, I've been leveraging ChatGPT to help me with my annual review process, and actually a lot of other things. So rather than just keep chat in mind as like a prompt, I'm starting to engage it on a daily basis and just giving it an overview of, this is what I got going on today. This is the opportunities I'm working on. These are the problems. And then just, it kind of directs me in it's kind of like it's like an assistant if you treat it like one, so to speak. So kind of just involving it more and engaging with it on a daily basis on more strategic things and not just, go do this or write an article or something. There's a lot more applications to it, which has been very helpful.
Any other wins? Anything else anyone wants to shout from the rooftop? Personal or business? I'd love to hear it.
Finally getting showings on all my dead listings that have been sitting on the market forever.
Look at that, brother.
I got so many deals I need to move. I'm so cash poor right now. So
good. Lots of opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Let's jump in then. Brad, I want to keep this pretty casual. I don't want to take too much time. I know you've got all the genius here. Would you, just to get us started, you want to jump in? Give us a quick update, maybe refresher, just in case. 30-second version of who you are. Why do we care about what you're bringing? Where did you leave things at over this last year? Like what was working good for you? I know you've got the carrot site. I know you've got a really impressive video strategy that you've got going on page there, but give us the high level of who you are, what's working well, and a couple things maybe you're proud of from this last year.
Brad Woodall, I'm out of Atlanta, well, north of Atlanta, Georgia. I've been doing this for 10 years now. Quit my corporate job in 2018. Been full-time at this since 2018, but been buying deals since 2015. Basically. Direct seller marketing this whole time. Got into video stuff probably, I think I recorded my first video maybe like 2018, 2019. Been doing a lot of video stuff for years and years and years. I have a bunch of different websites. I've kind of split my stuff into, like, I call them like mini brands, where like each sort of site is very specific to like a specific topic. That way that site ranks faster rather than like a jack of all trades, one size fits all site. I have all these individual ones, and all my video content is like specific to each one. And if someone looked at one site, they wouldn't really know that I like buy other types of deals. I just buy that one deal, and I appear to be the expert on that. Wins this year. I'm kind of getting the business where I want it and not where I thought that everyone else told me that it should be. I've actually scaled back in the last year or so, getting to the business where I kind of like it. And, getting it's doing what I want it to do for me right now. And if I want to change it in the future, I will. What else? So that's kind of high level stuff. I'm known as like the probate house guy. I've been on the carrot stuff with the probate stuff, but I do more than just that. In fact, to be perfectly honest, the probate stuff's kind of been sucking it up in 2025 compared to years past. So we're about to drop our first round of mailers for the year this week. So we'll see how that goes this year. And then we'll see how video stuff goes this year. But I been a carrot customer now for a long time. I think I moved over to you guys in 18, maybe 20 or 19, something like that. So video wise, I guess it'd probably be best to kind of show you my different sites, and then you can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing, or maybe I can show you the YouTube channels that I have for each.
I do want to dive in and see some of those things, but let's spend just a couple minutes, and then you can pull up screen and run with it. I'd like to hear like what pushed you that direction. What was the motivation there? Was it just, hey, this is the strategy everyone's going in on, so I need to do it too? Was it just personal? I love this stuff, and so I'm going to find a way to leverage it. Like, how did you decide to go that direction?
Well, for just SEO reasons, right? Doing all these videos for ranking, right? Just to help reinforce rankings. And then B, it's more personal, right? When a seller sees you and not just some stock website with stock photos and generic crap that, you get a carrot site right out of the box, and it's kind of everybody's site looks the same, right? It's all the same. So I layered the video in to make it look more real. We'd always done video testimonials since literally the very beginning, but then I started adding the video content on the different topics in to kind of like help reinforce the seller's decision when they're going with us, right? When they see me, and it's pretty much me in most of the videos, they are like, oh, this is a real person. And when you're just winning them over with that trust and appearing to be the expert. And that's kind of why I did it, just to kind of be different than everybody else. Because like back when I started, doing like video hot and heavy, like everybody was doing like SMS and cold. That was like in the heyday of SMS back in, 20, really like, yeah, it was like 2018, 2019. Like SMS was like the new frontier and everyone was hammering that. And I was like, well, I've always been one to kind of like do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. I'm not a bandwagoner kind of thing. So that's why I did it. And the more I did it, I got better and better and better and better at it. Like you can look at some of my first videos and they're awful. And like my audio quality and video quality and everything is just terrible. But also the reality of that is that the more raw and real and less prepared and polished your video is, honestly, I think that performs better than like super polished, well-produced video stuff, right? So
that was a huge pain point when I started here with Trevor 4 years ago, and just, oh man, I hated it because I'm coming in, I'm the fresh camera guy, I'm bringing all this HD 1080p. Trevor, here, use this mic, and he's like, no man, we're gonna use a cell phone. Let's go for a walk. Pulling my hair out, but because it doesn't look as nice, and
right.
when you start out, you get really caught up on gear, and I gotta look professional, I gotta make it perfect, I gotta be a professional YouTuber. But
Yep.
a lot of the industry that we're working in, that's the opposite of what a lot of these people are looking for. They don't trust that polished YouTube voice and video as much all the time. There's a time and place for it, but a lot of
Yep.
times the guy with the cell phone is, oh, that guy's walking down the block, that house in the background looks like me, he's just a regular guy.
Yep. And you got to remember one thing, that like if you're doing any video content, anything, it's not about you. You're making this content for the seller. You have to talk to the seller. Like you can sit in the video and toot your own horn and talk about how you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. That's going to go in one ear and right at the other. You have to make content that's for the seller and helping them with their problems, whatever that problem is. And that's where your list of topics of videos comes from, is what are all the problems and all the things that a seller might encounter in their journey. Make a video about it. Make 4 videos about it. I make like multiple videos that talk about basically the same thing, but then I choose different keywords. And that way, like if they're searching and Google's suggesting different things, I'm like omnipresent in that search, or at least I hope I am, where like all these different video suggestions might come up that maybe are talking about the same thing, but worded slightly differently. So, yeah. So that's kind of the main gist of it, is I just make stuff that I think about. I put myself in the seller's shoes and like, what questions do I have? Like, what would I be sitting on my computer? What would keep me up in the middle of the night? Maybe it's not like, some of it is like supporting videos. Like once you get them to watch one video or they're on your site, some of the videos are just like kind of supporting there to like help nurture them along the way, like reinforcement videos. They may not get a ton of views, a ton of traffic, but all I care about is that the right person at the right time is watching the video. I don't care that like 7,000 people viewed this video. Because
marketing in any form is it's exactly what you're describing, whether it's video or an email or a Facebook post. It's meeting your ideal prospect in their mind where they're at. So what's the conversation they're having in their head? How can you put something in front of them that they will stop the scroll, again, whether that's an inbox or social media or on a website or whatever it is? How do you stop them? Like, oh man, you took the words right out of my mouth. Or hey, are you feeling XYZ painting? Yes. Now they're hooked and they're ready for the next 10 seconds, the next 20 seconds from there. And that's good marketing. It's just stopping them meeting them where they're at in their mind.
Yep. And then we'll go back and like remake video. Actually, my VA in the Philippines, she gave me a list. She's been doing some SEMrush stuff over the last few weeks. And she's like, hey, you need to like remake this video and add this to it. And then we'll make it into a blog and we'll like add it to the page and link it through. And so like, that's what I'm doing now, because I feel like I've kind of covered like all the topics. And now I'm just like in this, we're remaking old stuff and we're just improving things and whatnot. So but some of my old stuff, like go ahead.
You mentioned like your topics and ideation a little bit. Mentioned your VA. Give us like the high level. What's the simple way for us to understand your, like the framework, your machine that you've got built in the background? How are you executing your strategy? It might help highlight some of the things that whether someone here is not doing video and they wants to, or they're doing video and it's not, and there's just way too much work, or they're not getting the results they want. What's the machine that you've got built? What are the kind of the big pieces that are empowering this strategy you're doing?
Yeah. So first of all, it all starts with like thinking like the seller, right? Like that's the base of it. It's like, okay, what are the things that they're searching for, right? So I make lists, and then I'll go through like SEMrush, and I'll go through keyword search tools, and I'll like type certain things, and then I'll look at like other things people have searched for, and I'll like, okay, I got to make a video about that, right? Or like, for instance, I've got to make one. Here's the crazy one. Winterizing a vacant house is like a top searched blog on my website. And I remember I made that video in like 2019. I was at a house and it was freezing cold, and it doesn't get that cold here in Georgia, but we were about to have like a week where it was going to be cold, cold, cold. And I was like, crap, I've got to go like actually winterize these houses, or I'm going to have broken toilets and pipes and whatever. So, but if you think about that, that is like a seller that has a vacant house and they don't want the pipes to freeze, right? So boom, there's that. What do we like to buy? We love to buy vacant houses, right? So that's why I did that one. So it starts with that, is thinking of making a list. I have like a notepad like app, and I just, when I think of something, I put it in there, right? And then the next step of that is then going into SEMrush, and like I said, and looking at what people are searching for, and then make videos for that. And then make like 3 or 4 videos for that topic or whatever. And then once you've got that down, you kind of just have, those are my topics. Like those are, I think of those as like my title of what the video would be. And then now that it's like a decision tree, and then I go down and I'm like, okay, what should I talk about in this video? And I just make like a high level outline of what I'm going to talk about in that video. I tend to ramble, and then everything else is just off the cuff from that point. So I only have an outline of the topics, because if you like script it too much, it's going to sound fake. It's not going to be real, right? So there's that. That's what I go through. And then I like to batch out videos, and like if I'm going to do videos, I'll shoot them all on like 1 day or 2 days or whatever. And just kind of record one after, because once you're in a rhythm, like when you're recording, like you'll get, like a lot of times what I'll do is when I sit down and do a session, I'll like the first 2, I'll actually go back and redo them at the end, because after you've done 2 or 3, you're like in a rhythm, you're going, and then I'm like, I'm going to remake that one. And then I'll like go back and remake the first one. And then I'll upload those to my editor. I hate editing videos with a passion. I do it like sometimes onesie twosies, but I have a guy that edits for me. So I used to send them all. I was using Josh Culler with Color Media to edit all my stuff, and he's great, and his team's great, and they did a great job. But like I got to a certain point where I had to do a minimum number of videos every month just to meet the like threshold for them to like do the services. So eventually I was like, I ran out of videos to make, so I'm not going to keep paying him to do this. So I found a guy that does like one-off stuff for me. He's a Discovery Channel editor, and he does these like on the side, like freelance stuff. He does my stuff's like easy. He's editing like, Gold Rush and stuff, and my stuff's just like easy. He can do it in his sleep.
Are you recording long-ish form 5-8 minute stuff? And because this is primarily for website blog pages, right? Is your main purpose for making the videos? You also
Correct.
put them on YouTube and other places as well, but it's primarily for the blog.
And then so Color was splitting them up when I was using them. They were cutting them up into like shorts too.
Mm-hmm.
And like stripping out the content. But there's like a lot of the AI now is pretty decent at that too, on stripping the stuff out. Like I did some, what did I use? Like Opus Clip or something, like, and it was like decent enough, but yeah, a lot of it's like 5 to 7 minute, maybe 10-minute tops videos. Occasionally they might go to like 15 or something if it's like a really in-depth topic. But that's all long tail keyword, like specific content that I would do. And then we'll do supporting videos. Like I said, some of the supporting stuff I'll fill in there, and those might be 2 or 3 minute videos. about that. So
yeah, it's very similar to, I mean, the blog content strategy we've been talking about for years of you've got to have those topics like you're talking about. It's what are the big things? It's fire damage, it's foreclosure, it's probate, it's vacant house, no tenants, whatever it is. How do I get tenants out? What are the big things your people are searching? And then what are 3, 4, 5, 6 related things that you can make separate pieces on? Because what that has always signaled to Google is, oh, this person doesn't just have a blog he wrote about foreclosure. He's got a blog about foreclosure. And he's got 7 linked up articles about specific foreclosure scenarios or states or whatever it is.
Yep.
And he's got 12 other clusters that are also, as filled out. Like this guy knows what he's talking about. That's what it signals to Google, whether that's with written blogs or even better, especially Google loves when you've got an embedded YouTube video on there too. So that's a great way to never run out of ideas. And you think about the big 7, 8 pillars, and there's 100 videos you can do in each one if you need to.
And then I took.
Are you doing all that page work yourself, or do you have? Is your VA doing that part?
So she kind of does that. Yeah. So she does my Carrot site. She kind of works split time for me, and then for Christina and James Spence in Texas. That's how I got her. So she works like 20 hours a week for me and 20 hours for James and Christina. And she basically just does my Carrot site. Like she's really good at Carrot, and she knows like how to do all the things. And so what I do is I shoot the videos, I either edit them or I send them to the editor. Once I get them back and they're in YouTube, I upload them to the YouTube channel, and then I say, hey, the videos are there, do your thing. She does the transcription stuff and then cleans up the transcription and makes it more like digestible rather than just like a robotic transcription, kind of makes it into more of a blog stuff. And then we put it out on the site, and then she makes sure they're like showing up on the right pages. So you get the whatever circular thing or whatever you got. I don't know. She knows all about that. I literally, for between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I bought a SEMrush subscription, and she found all the like training videos, and she literally spent Thanksgiving and Christmas just like watching videos for like weeks. And she was like, hey, I got all these great ideas about this and da 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 da. I'm like, cool, money well spent.
What are you doing are you doing any like monitoring of this page? I mean, beyond just clicks to the page, are you doing anything to look at? I guess not on YouTube. It would be on page stuff you'd be using to gauge how successful they are, or if one of them is bringing in more clicks than another, or when you need, this one's working great, but I need to redo it, or stuff like that.
Yeah, I kind of use all the tools. I use YouTube. Like I look at the YouTube traffic. I look at the search engine stuff. I look at AdWords. John, no, I'm not running YouTube ads. I don't know why I never did. I should probably. I just haven't. So yeah, that's kind of, I use all the tools. So I'll use, because sometimes, for instance, like I took all the stuff a step further and I made specific websites. For example, one that's actually starting to get a little bit more traffic, which is a foreclosure specific website. I took a Carrot site, took all the foreclosure stuff. Whoop, there goes my camera thing. It does this. Hold on. Let me switch to.
Mine does that all the time too.
Now I switched back. So I use a Canon Rebel. I've used the same camera since like 2019. I have a Canon Rebel T7i, and for some reason I did an update like, I don't know, 6 months ago. And now I have to use EOS webcam utility to start with, because the Rebel thing is like frozen, because I'm doing all this in Ecamm Live, and then it'll like, the EOS webcam will die, and then I have to go switch the camera back. I haven't figured out how to fix it. I don't know.
Yeah, Canon does not make it easy or cheap. Great segue, because I was going to ask one more like set of questions. We'll open it up to Q&A so someone else can jump in here in a second. But the last like really pointed thing I'd like to get your opinion on, and interesting that's when that happened there. I think a lot of people get super hung up on either I can't do video because I'm not a cameraman who's edited Gold Rush, or I'm going to do video and now I need to become the cameraman who shot and edited Gold Rush, right?
Right.
It sounds like you've got a slightly more complicated setup, but that's something you're allowed to do once you've just done it and you've stuck for a long time. Yeah. You start getting better at things. You start in small tweaks, small improvements. But what would you suggest someone either starting out from scratch or who's maybe overcomplicating right now? What's the keep it simple version to get this done and get decent results without, going crazy?
Just use your phone. I mean, for I didn't, like I said, I started like for the first year or two of doing video, it was all just on my iPhone. And I still do video on my, like if I'm out, I don't take my Rebel. My Rebel pretty much stays on a tripod in my office. I don't take it out of here. If I'm out, like if I'm at a property or whatever, I'm using my phone. Like plus the cameras, the iPhone, whatever, I don't even know which one I have. The cameras are really good on them for what we need to use them for. Like there's YouTubers I watch and literally they record everything on an iPhone. Like, you know, so there's that, but audio matters. So get a decent microphone. Like especially if you're going to be like out looking at a property or whatever. Like if I'm at a property right now, I just use my AirPods because it's semi-decent. But like if you're in a noisy environment or whatever, you want to get like a lavalier mic or something like that and have it synced up with your phone at the very least. So you don't pick up all that background noise and all the echo or whatever.
That sounds complicated and scary. Someone says lavalier mic and go, okay, I'm tuned out. I'm not hearing it. They're so cheap, especially nowadays. You can get wireless ones that just plug right into your phone. And now you've got a little mic that clips. You don't have to go crazy.
This was the first ones I used. These are just like Al Voxcon from Amazon. I bought them for like, I don't know, less than $100. I forget what I paid for them. My first set kind of started, this is all just cheap Chinese crap. So like after a while, it started getting a lot of static and fuzz. So I bought a new set and those worked great for a while. I use, nowadays, if I'm out, I'll use, I bought some Rode mics, like some, these are nicer. Like, I mean, it's definitely, you're going to probably end up upgrading later, but just to get started, just get a cheap lavalier mic. Like he said, they sync up with your phone. Look at that. It's the third showing request of the day on this property. Heck yeah. I need to get this thing sold. Sorry, let me confirm that showing. So yeah, get it like a mic. And then when I first started with my Canon, I used one of these guys on top. And that worked fine. Just make sure you do like a directional one and not like I forget. There's
I would almost suggest, I mean, unless you've already made 10 videos, spend $50 on a mic that plugs into the bottom of your phone, whatever port that is, lightning port, USB-C, whatever that is. That's it.
Yeah.
Buy a $30 cheap mic, wireless mic, start a notepad list with content ideas. And until you've actually made yourself sit down and record 8 or 9 or 10 videos, I don't think it's worth going too much farther than that.
Plus, you're going to suck for your first few videos. You should have, to this day, I still have no expectations of how my videos will perform. It's a shotgun approach. I just make videos and whatever sticks, great. Whatever doesn't, whatever. I don't care.
Brad, are there 5 or 6 or 7 that you would say, okay, it's a shotgun approach. I'm just go do it out of expectations. But like Wyatt has 0 videos on his website. What are the 5 videos he has to have? You got to go make these. Go make 5 videos that suck that you're never going to post. And then your next 5 videos should be these ones you need to have. What are those?
So the first major ones are going to be like the major keywords that people search, like companies that buy houses in whatever, right? The major search terms, like this would be like the kind of stuff that you would use for like broad match searches on Google or whatever. And maybe I'm getting a little too granular with those terms, but I feel like everyone knows what that means. But yeah, those, and then get deeper. So like cover the big keywords, like how do I sell my house fast in X town or X city or whatever. And then you do a video about that. Label all, one thing I do is I title all of our testimonial videos as sell my house fast, whatever city that customer was in, like we'll shoot it at closing. And then the video title on YouTube is like sell my house fast in Canton, Georgia. Like, and then that'll show up and they'll see that. Like I do that. I don't say John Smith testimonial. Like no one's searching that on the internet. That's not going to show up for anything. And then, so there's that. So start like at the top. So use like a keyword predictor, look at that. Like you can, when you do the keyword planners or whatever, you can sort it by like, the number of clicks. So start at the top and work your way down and like go down that way. So that would be how I would do it.
Yeah, something like SEMrush or SEO Quake, or there's so many different tools out there for keywords, but just and you can filter it down by your business model, service area, type of filters, and then what are the things that are getting the typed the most in Google, and find the ones that are the most relevant to you. It's just like, I mean, again, it's the same game we were playing 10 years ago when SEO was new and everyone's trying to figure out what to do. It's keyword stuff. It's just less dependent these days on the perfect match title as much, because Google's so much better these days at determining relevance. Something that I hear Trevor suggest a lot, and it's kind of across the board, whether it's on your website and it's how you're changing your testimonial block or your FAQ, or you're making an advertisement that you want to post on for PPC, or you're making a video for your website. It used to be sell my house fast. Billings, Montana was the most important thing to get up there. Still have that stuff in there, but again, meet your ideal prospect where they're at in their mind. And so it's a I don't know what's just a pain point that our people are feeling the most often. It's like, sold my house in 3 days, or cashed out in 5 days, or whatever it is. Like, what's the thing that is a pain for them and a promise they'd like to hear? And then it's, sell my house fast with Wyatt in Billings, Montana, whatever it is. But what's the title that's going to get their attention, that's going to make them realize right off the bat this is something they're interested in?
Yeah, we had one
the same thing for keyword research as well.
That performed well. Was like dealing with a problem tenant or something, and it was a testimonial. It was a cool video because it was during COVID, and we like stayed away from this person, and we went to this public park, and my acquisitions guy gave the seller and his wife his phone, and they walked around and like talked about their history of what happened and dealing with this problem tenant, and then like how we came in and saved the day. We didn't even ask them to do that. It was like the most amazing testimonial.
There's a difference between asking for a testimonial versus telling me your story and how you went with us and how we helped solve your problem.
Right. Yep. So cool. So there's that. Yeah. Do you want me to talk about like my setup now? Like, does that
matter? Let's check a couple of these questions. John, maybe you want to unmute and jump in. You got a handful of things in here I haven't fully read yet, but let's do a couple questions, and then if we feel like we've answered all the burning ones, then we can go a little deeper into the setup if that's helpful. I want to be cautious not to make that the star of the show, because I think everyone here could go make really well performing videos with literally the phone in their pocket, but I also don't want to like hide the fancy stuff if that's what we're into. But John, jump in if you got a couple questions you want to crack it open.
Yeah, Brad, I appreciate you sharing this. Video content has been like on my to-do list for years. I just have never had the time, and I think 2026, the things I've got in place, I'll finally have the time. So yeah, I only like 6 questions, but I'm curious, you talked a little bit about like using YouTube. I'd asked like what tools or software you use to make your videos, like editing software, Canva, anything. Like, I mean, is it your EA doing it? Like, I'd love to hear more about that.
So early on, I literally my first few videos, I just shot them over and over again until I got them right, because I didn't want to edit them. Like I would record it like 8 times. Like, okay, I think this is good enough. Let's roll with this. And then I just maybe trim the front and the middle. For a while, I used like iMovie to edit stuff. I use Final Cut now if I'm editing stuff. My other editors I've used Adobe Premiere, but I wouldn't worry about that. Like, I mean, iMovie is fine, and some of the AI tools now are even better at doing that. You can even there's a way to edit videos within YouTube. Like if you want to trim the ends, like you can actually do that in YouTube.
Yeah, I think the very beginning stage, we're using the word edit, and that can mean so many different things. But for where a lot of us are starting out, editing should just be, okay, chop out the 2 minutes at the front where I didn't know if I was live or not, or if the camera was focused. Chop out the back where I awkwardly got up and pushed the button, right? And if there's a spot in the middle where you need to chop something out, like ideally that's all the editing you need to worry about when you get started.
Correct.
And then the next step might be, okay, am I going to tweak the audio a little bit? But that's not always necessary at the beginning, especially if you've got some sort of microphone, and you can slowly progress with how heavy your edits are. But I wouldn't get yourself too bogged down with thinking you need an editor or something like Final Cut or Premiere at the beginning. I think CapCut is right on your phone. You can do so much. It's free. If you're shooting on your phone and your audio is already somewhat decent because you had a mic, CapCut's free, and you've got all the tools and all kinds of fancy stuff in there. Almost anywhere you upload it, it's going to have tools built in too for captions or other things like that. So
yep,
a lot of those barriers are definitely a lot lower than they used to be.
Yeah, like you're not be doing like B-roll and all that stuff in any of these videos. Like that's all like not what we're worried about in this business. So how often do you make your videos? I was doing them like once a week or every other week and batching them all out on like a Tuesday. So I'd like sit down for a few hours and just like, I'd have my list and I would just record them all. And that's generally what I do. Nowadays, I'm like, honestly, I haven't recorded a video since probably like October. So I was just talking to my team. I got to get back on the bandwagon and start recording some stuff. But yeah, like I just sit down and batch it all out in one day. That's the easiest thing to do. What metrics do you use to track your video and understand effectiveness? You're just really looking at, really what matters is, when you make them into a blog article on your site, are you getting traffic to that blog article? Like, or when you look at YouTube, you can look at, your views and also look at kind of how long they're watching it. I don't pay as much attention to that because really all I care about is like, am I answering their question? Do they have a question? Do I answer the question? That's all I worry about. I don't really care.
When you say the blog article traffic, is that Carrot's like video post thing? Do you upload the video and okay?
Except we don't use that tool anymore. We just do it on our own. Like we use the same. We use whatever that tool that was it Rev? Yeah, Rev. We use Rev, and then my VA does it now.
Rev is what powers the video post tool on Carrot, and it is there's no upcharge on it. But I don't know, and I don't want to cost. I don't know if there's any extra like latency between uploading it to video post. It then goes and it has Rev transcribe it, bring back that transcript. It charges you whatever the Rev thing would be. I don't know if it's cheaper to do a membership through Rev and they give you a month of credits. I have no idea how that works, but it's powered by that tool. And like you said, it is just a rough transcript, so you do got to do some work on it, which is made easier these days than it ever has been before with AI. You don't want to just copy paste AI, change it, put it in. You want to put some work into it, but same thing. It's removed so many of the things that used to make it really, really hard.
Yeah, because if you just do Rev, it's going to be like this literally robotic transcription of what you just said, and you still have to like kind of mold it back into like a little bit of a storyline blog article and strip some of the peripheral stuff that you don't realize you're saying. Like it's going to say and like like it's going to have all that. You got to trim all that out of there. So yeah, you already answered the YouTube ads things. URL and foreclosure site is it's going to be sellhouseFastGeorgia.com. And I did videos with my attorney for that, and we answered all the legal specific questions because he can give legal advice and I can't. And then we converted on the Sell House Fast Georgia stuff. We converted all those into blog articles, and then I'm also running Google ads to like exact match long tail keywords for those. And got a deal. We've only had that website's only had literally, I pulled the traffic yesterday, 9 leads. And I got one deal out of it and made 30 grand. So, awesome. 9 leads, one conversion, 30 grand. I'll take it. And I spent $4,000 in ads. I paid my VA like for maybe a couple weeks to build the site out, and I paid to have all the videos edited. And then I did like a little bit of I would do a profit share with my attorney on it. He's my real estate attorney, my closing attorney. But yeah, we did a bunch of videos. So those are all specific to like legal topics around foreclosure, and he can answer those, like, because I would get in trouble if I was giving out legal advice. So yeah. And I've done those for probate stuff too. So I've done probate attorney stuff, like where we answer probate specific stuff. Like I've done videos with probate attorneys on all those different Q&A type topics, and then converted those into blogs and whatever and all that stuff. So let's see. All your website URLs. So this is my main Harborview homebuyers.com has been my main site for ages. Probate resource is my probate site.
John, I'm looking at your question about reviews. How much of your stuff is in person versus you never see the place or the people? How often are you at the closing table physically, I guess?
So I still go to closings sometimes. Sometimes I'll sign my docs before I still physically sign closings. But when I had my acquisitions, it's almost been a year since I let my acquisitions guy go. I'm doing acquisitions again now. But he would do the videos at closing. Like he would show up to closing since he was the person who was interacting with the seller all the time. He would do the videos with them.
And that's totally where I was going with that too.
Yeah.
I'm glad that that's how you answered that, because that would be, John, that would be my first piece of advice is as often as you possibly can, get it right then and there versus
Do it
do it later. And like they almost won't, like half
trying
the
to
time
get
do it.
reviews and trying to get testimonials after closing or within more than 24 hours of closing, like your chances of getting that like drop to like nil.
Yeah.
And especially getting that in a format that's helpful too. I mean, it's hard enough not to be discouraging. It's a skill to build just like anything else. But when you're there in person and you can ask the right question for them to share the story that's the most helpful, like that's difficult to do as it is, much less, hey, when you get a chance, send me a video and make sure you hit all these points. It just isn't going to happen. Or they go in testimonial mode and then it's generic. But yeah, in person, right when you do the deal, how you feeling? Oh, so relieved or stressful, or that was a lot, whatever it is. Yeah, totally understandable. Like what put you in, how did you find yourself needing this situation? Who'd you look at, then consider, and how'd you end up choosing me is one of the questions I hear Trevor ask the most often. What were you looking for and how did you end up choosing me? Because they'll almost always say, oh, I looked at Zillow and I went to so-and-so and I realized XYZ, but then you and your site said this and that's everything I needed. Like boom, right in the first 15 seconds, you've got an amazing testimonial before they've even really started the full story.
My question was, and I go in person, we double close. So I'm usually there signing docs, either right before or right after the seller. So my question was more about just how do I get the person to want to do it? Like, is it, I've made the mistake of like springing it on them at closing. I've tried to like work it further upstream in like my acquisition process. Like I get a lot of people that are like, no, I don't want to be on video. Nope. I don't want to do,
a lot of people
want to be recorded.
We probably only get videos on like maybe 10 or 20% of the sellers.
Oh.
Like we don't, and I don't push them hard. Like my acquisitions guy would like do the sales thing and like try to talk them into doing it. I'm like, if I was at the closing, like Joel, if they don't want to do a video, don't make them do a video. They don't want to be on camera.
What are you asking them, John? Or like, what are you usually saying or how are you pitching that?
So like in our process, like, because like long ago, we were just struggling to get any review. I wouldn't even get a Google review. And so I was like, okay, we got to solve this. So we started working in language like, hey, our goal is to make sure that you have 5-star service. Like, hey, thanks so much for signing the purchase agreement. Like, is there anything that, has gone on so far that you're confused about? Or like, we just want to make sure that, when we get to the closing table, you're like super excited about the process, blah, 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 blah. And like, that's peppered in throughout the whole acquisition process. So, like working in that's getting them ahead of like, okay, hey, they're going to ask me to be on camera at closing. That's where I'm like, I don't know how to like pitch that. And I've tried like, hey, we'll give you an extra $500 if you leave us a video review. Like, then it now starts to feel weird.
We just ask, hey, would you mind doing a quick video, like to talk about how it went? And if they say, yeah, sure, that's fine. Or like, I'm like, look, it's okay. Like I don't, some people are like weird about like, oh, I don't look good today or whatever, but I don't try to like push it hard. I don't try to like incentivize them. I just ask. Like it's not, there's no secret formula to it.
Might try. And obviously I've never been there in person, so I don't know what you've tried and how it's gone, but there's a difference between saying, hey, Brad, do you mind if I do a video of you real quick? Versus, hey, do you mind? I just like to, hey, I'm going to record a quick thing real quick while we're at the table, if that's cool. And pointing at yourself. It's like, hey, what's up, guys? I'm at the closing table again today. Really excited we were able to help with this property. And they were dealing with XYZ, and I was able to this. Obviously, you got to ask them first. Like, hey, do you mind if I'm going to record a quick video over here? Would you mind if I ask you a couple questions?
Right.
That might feel less hey, can I record you? Right? Maybe. And again, I don't know what you've tried, but I know that that's how Bo, and he's pretty adamant about closing table and just sharing their stories, and it's less about, can I do a video testimonial? It's like, hey, can I record a video? I just want to talk about I want to talk a couple things about your story or a couple things about what we're able to do today. Would you be all right with that? Most people will be like, sure, because you're not pointing it at them. But yeah, I agree with Brad. Don't force it. I don't know too many people who offer $50, much less $500 for video review. So I'd maybe, just if I'm drawing inferences from nobody else does that, suggest you don't do that too often. But also, if that's what's working, I guess if that's what's getting your reviews, I can't tell you no either.
I
Yeah,
also think
that
that
I was gonna say that was because we had offered people like gift cards, $100. So like the last deal we closed last year, I was like, I'll give you $500. I didn't say it like that, but like I was like, what is the market on like a freaking video review?
I've never paid for one ever. Plus, one thing I think with us is our website, multiple sites are plastered with testimonial videos all over them. So I think most of our sellers already know going, like a lot of them won them over with the video, like of us, and like they saw all these people. So a lot of them kind of know what's coming. But 20, like I said, 10 to 20% are all that actually does videos. Like I
also makes, I'm gonna stay vague unless anyone wants to speak up, because I'd be interested in some opinions, but I also don't want to throw anyone under the bus. I wonder Brad, what's your opinion? Well, anybody here, what are your opinions on, you just made the point, they're seeing my videos, they're seeing my site. When I ask for a video, like they're probably not shocked because they've seen a bunch of my stuff at this point. How do you feel that? Does that go the other direction? Do you ever consider like, oh, I can't make this video, I can't post this, I wouldn't want to post this because people are going to, I don't know, I don't want to post this because it'll give the wrong impression. Does that ever come up to you, or is that just the game you're playing that doesn't matter?
I don't like to, so depending, like we don't get like into specifics on like super personal situations like that might be embarrassing to someone. We kind of like, especially like hoarder houses, like some of the hoarders are like embarrassed by it, you know, like we'll say, oh yeah, the house needed some work and da-da-da-da-da, and I'll put like hoarder on the video, but like I don't try to like really ruffle feathers when I do.
I've seen some things, and I think I know where it's coming from. I think I understand what's happening is just that there is an agency that feels the need to deliver X amount of edits per week. And when you get in that boat, they start to sometimes scrape the barrel and come up with short pieces of content that maybe aren't the best, but I got to deliver 8 videos this week. And that starts to, just from they're playing a quantity game, they start to deliver things that it's like shaming almost. And I every time I see them, I was like, oh man, should I say something? I wonder if this is doing any, I don't want to say damage, sounds dramatic, but if I was a prospect, if I was somebody who needed help that one of the people on these calls could provide, and then I saw a video of them shaming a house that looked just like mine, I'm not probably reaching out to that person for fear of showing up on the thing, or they must already think that I'm low, or like they're re-emphasizing things I'm already feeling bad about. So content wise, I think it's interesting. It can go both ways. Show them the good stuff, and they're going to expect to be in those shoes. Show them something else, they might choose maybe not to go with you. But
yeah, it's a good idea. I think the same way, Braden. When I don't like to like.
There's a difference between, hey, this is a situation that we can help with and we want it to be relatable, versus shaming or I don't know. There's probably some other words there, but.
So like on the hoarder stuff, for example, I go to the house after we bought it and I record like some of my hoarder videos are like, hey, I'm in this house. This was a hoarder house. Like the seller is like not in the video anymore. Like it's an anonymous video, right? But I'm in the mess of it and showing the video of like, hey, we're in this hoarder house or whatever, and this is what happened in the situation. But this, like, I don't like the seller's not a part of that.
Here's the situation and how I'm going to help change it.
Yeah,
it's the message.
Like, oh, that looks like my house. Like, oh god, that's worse than my house. Oh, that's way worse than my house. You know, like that. So with the hoarder situation, yeah, there's certain sensitive areas and certain probate things we'll talk about. Like, we don't get into like the nitty gritty of like, this is what happened in the probate. It's like, yeah, this probate situation was pretty complicated, and it took a few months to work through all these complications and whatever. And I also do some recap videos of deals after the fact that are like, this is what happened, but I keep everything like anonymous and to talk about a specific situation, and I'll get into more of the details, but like keep all the names anonymous.
Yeah, the intention there is to show the transformation of the opportunity or the service available, and I think that's the better angle.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll throw out in the conversation of video reviews and them being tough to get is definitely try a couple of those things, see if you can make it feel a little less intrusive, or if just like you're doing already, John, in your example is you're kind of priming them in advance. Like, try all those things, but also have in your back pocket if that time comes where, hey, I'd love to just record a super quick thing, kind of share what we were able to do here. If you're okay with that, like, no, I'm really not comfortable with that. No problem. Would you be okay if I sent you a follow-up later this evening to get a written review or get a Google review? And I think it was Paul Myers was telling us, like, he's got there's the specific link. You click on it, it takes you right to the thing, it pops it up. And with that link, you send something like, hey, so-and-so, is really amazing getting to work with you. I appreciate the trust. If you had the time to share, and it's that same thing, what do you actually want them to say? You can't give them the words, but you can say, if you had a moment to share the problem you were trying to solve and how you chose me in the end and how you felt about the outcome, like those, framing it that way, you'll have a better chance of them going in instead of saying, it was really great to work with Brad, he's a professional, which is not as powerful as, I was feeling XYZ. It was really tough. I was trying to find someone who could do this. Then I found Brad and he offered all the things I needed. When we were all done, it was quicker and easier than I thought it was going to be. That's way more powerful. And you could use that, remove as many barriers to getting that review from them as possible. So sending them the link, giving them that little bit of context so they don't have to do as much thinking. And it's there right in front of them as a backup if you can't get the video review at the table or in person. But
what he said, that's cool.
Yeah. I appreciate all the dialogue there. I think, based on what I saw last year, it may just be an expectation problem, right? I'm expecting 80%, 90%, and getting half that. So, which if Brad's saying he's getting 10 to 20, maybe I'm just lucky.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, I've been doing this for 10 years, and I probably have only recorded. Yeah, it's probably around 10%. I don't know. I've probably done close to 350 deals maybe in the last 10 years. And yeah, I probably only have maybe 30 testimonial videos on my site, maybe 30, 40. I don't know. So yeah, that's only like 10%. So
yeah, that's good expectations.
Mm-hmm. And I've never pushed hard to like make that. Like, I feel like I have enough, So yeah. And make sure you do it right at closing. Like as soon as we do it, docs are signed, they're waiting on their paper copies to come back. Like we're waiting on that's when we do it. Like not when we're walking up to leave. It's like, hey, the attorney's like, hey, we're going to go make copies of everything. We'll be back in like 5 minutes. And that's when we do the video. So,
Brad, is there anything as we bring this kind of towards a close, looking in the next year or the next 3 years in regard to your content strategy, your on-page stuff, the video game? What are you looking at? What are you looking for? Are you expecting big changes somewhere? Are you just staying the course? I mean, what are you doing to prep or plan or looking at over the next short period here?
We're trying to figure out what AI, like how AI is fitting into all this and search stuff. Like right now, I'm going to continue the course until I see that the course is maybe not the right course, but I'm going to keep staying that. But where I've got my VA kind of like researching more of the AI stuff, especially like, there's so like, it's changing so fast. So like, is it going to make video irrelevant? Is it not? I feel like it's going to help reinforce it. I don't know. Nobody knows. This business has changed so much since I started. It's always changing. So
yeah. I want to be careful I don't want to like play the expert. I'm not, but I'm surrounded by experts every day. And so what I'm expecting in that ballpark is everything we've seen from AI from Google over the last 6 months has made us feel really confident, where 4 months ago we weren't confident to Trevor paused his book because, man, it feels like every 3 weeks I've got to go rewrite 2 chapters because things are just changing so quickly right now, and we don't know what direction things are falling. It could be that I write this book and 2 months later AI shifted the whole course. No, we're at this point where he feels really confident. He's jumped back in. We're going to get that knocked out because AI has the rapid explosion of it has leveled out enough. Okay, it's clear where they're going. All the changes Google's made over the last several months, it's clear they're just doubling down on the expertise, authority, experience, and trust stuff that was the SEO game for the last 10 years.
Yep.
That is just being enforced by AI at this point.
Right.
Which is why your video stuff is still doing amazing, like it has been for this, because you're playing the same game. It's just hopefully now going to be expedited and empowering people doing it better. There's going to be, Trevor's expectation is there's going to be a trend over the next couple of years of the faceless or the fake AI people. I mean, I see them in YouTube ads all the time. It's the same scripted ad, but it's a different AI avatar delivering it every time it pops up. And I think over the next 6 months, it's going to get harder and harder to detect that it's a crappy AI bot. And so everyone will start just jumping on that bandwagon because everyone can just pay the $100 a month to go make my videos for me, right? As that market hits a saturation point where, man, half the videos I'm watching, 70% of the videos I'm watching are AI faces or AI people. That's where hey, I'm real person Brad sitting at a real clothing table with a real person. Here's what we just did. That's where that starts to come back as something. It can't be faked, and it's the genuine stuff people are looking for. So I think you're going the right direction. I don't think you're about to be like sideswiped by AI, even if there's a short period where it feels like I could be doing this with way less effort because everyone else is just paying for the AI avatar. I don't think that'll be the long-term winner, but
everybody's zigging right now. Zach, that's what I always do. Whatever everyone else is doing, I do the opposite of that. So like, yeah. And real is always going to be real. Whether the world is taken over by AI bots, like real people are always going to be real people. And people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. So
until Amazon gets into the robotic house selling market,
right?
Keep making on videos.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll ever, because we also have to think about like the niche we're in our business is like not general real estate selling houses. Like we're talking about like a small percentage of overall real estate, and we're targeting specific people that have like really complicated problems. So if you double down on fixing all the really complicated problems, AI is never going to be able to solve all those complicated problems, because most of those the complications of those problems are because of people issues, like emotional things that AI will never be able to like figure out. Like you have to solve emotional problems. Like all of these things stem from, so the house was vacant for 10 years because, well, dude buried his head in the sand and didn't do anything about it until the pain of not changing exceeds the pain of changing. Like that's what's happening here. Like, so if we just focus on like getting down in the nitty gritty and focusing on the things that AI is never really going to be able to solve because it requires emotional intelligence. Maybe AI will have emotional intelligence one day. I don't know, but like our EQ matters in this game.
And sticking it out, knowing that a difficult market will make a ton of people jump ship. And in a year or 2 years, if half of real estate investors have bailed and moved on to the next big thing, crypto or AI or whatever it is, like you're still the one here with the experience, with the expertise, with the, the knowledge you're in the market when people still need that because AI won't solve it immediately. So,
yep.
Amazing. Well, if no one else has any just burning questions they want to bring up, we're right at that hour mark.
I'll stay on for maybe 15. I got to get ready for hockey practice in a little bit, but I got 15 more minutes if anybody else wants to stay on and ask more questions.
I got to drop, but Brad, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it. Super interesting to hear.
Yep.
See you guys.
What's up, Wyatt?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, Brad, as you said you scaled back some and got to a size that you liked better for yourself. In doing that, were there things that really stuck out to you where you're like, man, I was doing this when I was bigger, but I shouldn't have been doing that at all? Like, as you scaled back, were there things that stuck out to you that were a waste of money that you got rid of in the process?
I don't know if any one thing stuck out. I just really looked at like what do I want and what am I okay doing right now? And that may change. I'm okay doing acquisitions myself right now. I'm okay like doing less deal. Like I'm okay. I said, okay, for instance, like I'm rehabbing a lot. I used to wholesale, like I was probably 80-20 wholesale flip. Now I'm the opposite way around, right? I'm like 80% flip rehab and 20, part of that in the market drove that too. But I'm like, okay, I physically don't want to do more than like 3 flips at a time because I manage the projects, like the rehabs, and it's brain damage to me dealing with any more than 3 at a time. Like I just can't, like these guys that have these big scaled organizations that do like, are doing like 50 rehabs at a time. I'm like, bless your heart. Like, I don't want to do that. Nor do I want to have to then have the payroll of the project manager that I have to worry, because this business does this, right? And no matter how consistent, I've been doing this 10 years, no matter how consistent I've tried to make this business, it's never freaking consistent. Like you're going to have high months and low months. And when you have those low months, it really sucks to have to, like, there were months where I was like tapping on my home equity line on my house to like pay payroll for that month, to pay all my employees. But then the next month it was great. Like we had, made a ton of money, 6 figures the next month. And it's like, last year I was like, how do I make my American Express bill smaller every month? Like I want to make it smaller, but like make the same amount of money. And like last year I was more profitable. My revenue was much lower, but I was more profitable last year than I ever was. And really profit's all that freaking matters at the end of the day. Revenue doesn't matter. It matters how much you keep, not how much you make.
Profit, and it sounds like a lower stress level from the way you described it at the beginning of the call, was just choosing to scale back when maybe other people suggest not to, but running the business the way you need to run it to live the life and go play hockey, but still make the profit you need to. Like that sounds like the magic balance right there. But
and if I decide I want to scale it back up, like in a year or two, I will. Like I'm just figuring out like what I like, and I've always been kind of I'm not a hard driver like kind of person, like some of these super A-type entrepreneurs. That's not me. I do this because it gives me free time. Like I was screwing around with my new Land Cruiser all day today, like before we got on this video. Like I bought a project car. So like I want to have time during the day where I can like talk on the phone and like talk to Missy, my leads manager, and go through things and talk about business and whatever, and do what I want to do. Like I do this not because I want to, have some massive scaled organization, make $1 bazillion and whatever, and just do what I want to do. So that's why I scaled back, because I was like, I didn't like what it became. Plus the market changed, the market shift. I know a lot of guys who have scaled back a lot. And a lot of the guys that are out there, the gurus that you see on the internet, aren't talking about it, but a lot of them scaled their businesses back. Like I've got a buddy of mine who's here in Georgia, but he does business in multiple markets. He's exited like 3 markets, and he's like cut back his deal volume like significantly and let a lot of people go. And 2 years ago, he was like, scale, scale, scale. You must scale. You're terrible if you're not a scaled organization. And now he's like shrunk his business.
Yeah.
So it's the market changes. The market may get bananas in like 2 years, and maybe we have to scale for the sake of just being able to keep up with it. But like it's kind of slow right now, so let's scale back a little bit. So
agreed.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. So
what's up, Mike?
Hey, Brad.
Hey, what's up?
Apologize if you already answered this question, but my question is, can you tell us about the people you hired to edit the videos? Because they were good. Because that's one, I love creating content. I just don't like editing it because it's more tedious.
You and me both, man. I hate editing stuff because it takes hours. So for a while, like in editing, like Braden said loosely, like you're just literally trimming stuff or whatever. I was using Josh Color with Color Media for a while, and they were great, and their team's good. Like Braden mentioned, like I was getting to this minimum deliverable, is like I was making videos for the sake of like having to hit this quota, because he wouldn't, like I had an X number of like, and then like you said, the video quality, they were just making videos for the sake of making videos, and like maybe we really didn't need 8 shorts this month. Maybe we only needed 4, right? But they were putting out kind of crap, and I actually had to. You mentioned that, Braden. I did have to have them pull down some stuff that I didn't like. I was like, this doesn't fit what I'm trying to. Because I would still watch because they would upload like at a certain time in the morning. Ironically, I guess because of the time, like they would always drop the videos out at like 7 o'clock in the morning, my time, Eastern time. And I'd be sitting there drinking coffee, like, you know, before the kids go to school. And I'm like, oh, cool. I watch the video. Like, oh, no, I don't like that one. And I'd send them an email and like delete this. Or I would go on my YouTube channel and actually like mark it as private. And be like, yeah, I don't like this one. I'm going to mark it as private and have them delete it later or edit, change it.
I spent 6 months with Color where they sent me a spreadsheet with the videos that they were planning to post the next week. And I would either approve them or change the copy, and held them responsible for updating the document where they changed. Oh, hey, if I tell you to update the copy, I need you to try and document why. So you've got a list, and like are slowly over the course of those 6 months building up a really clear understanding. And then for the next 3 months after that, I said, great, you can just auto post everything. But like once a week, I'd sit down and scroll and decide, hey, these 6 were fine, but this one like didn't love, and here's why, and just slowly honed it in. That was before like ChatGPT was really cranking, and it would have made that process so much easier to train first. And like, hey, I built a copy bot that I'm 100% approved. Just use this. Like, it was before that stuff. And you're going to probably run into that with almost any editor you work with. You're going to have to dial in the understanding of what you want and what you don't want, and those expectations, and how long you're going to oversee it before you decide, or whether you decide if you're going to or not. Give them free range or just post for you. But
yeah, and there, a lot of them, you got to understand, like a lot of these editors are not real estate people. So you still need to be in control of like the copy and the content and like the message, because they're video editors. They're not real estate people. Like, you understand what the seller needs to see. They know how to chop up a video and make it pretty and whatever, but they don't know real estate. So you've always got to understand. Like,
you're not doing short form stuff right now, Brad? Is that right?
No. Since I stopped using Color, it's been about a year since I stopped using Color. I don't do any short form stuff anymore. Honestly,
they don't get really the opportunity if they're just cleaning up audio and putting an intro and outro. They don't get the opportunity to mutilate your message or portray the wrong thing, because it's your video. Versus they got a 7-minute video and they're going to chop up 40 seconds of it. Especially if they take that 40 seconds and make it out of a bunch of 10-second clips. Like, it's really easy to misconstrue something or highlight the wrong thing. But with medium long form stuff, that's not really an issue you have to deal with. But Mike, I know you've got a short form game running too. Who are you using for your content right now?
CapCut. I'm doing it myself.
Okay.
But Keith Santa told me to update my YouTube video for some cities that are important to me on my Wake County Homebuyers brand, and I have a Fair Cash Offers brand. I have a personal brand that I use just to get my ideas out there and try to help promote my book. But I do that like in the morning when I'm getting ready, or at night, or on the weekends. It's kind of like, because I like to be creative, because I find that when I'm bogged down in paying bills, you rehab houses, you pay invoices all day.
Dude, you should see my desk right now.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, let's do something fun. So that's usually what I'll do on the weekends and at night. But it's more of a creative thing. So I think I'm just going to keep doing that, because it's not, it'll grow gradually, and there's no rush. It's done for the personal brand. So
yeah, that's good. Yeah, and keep them all separate. It's fine. Yeah. The other guy I used, he just did like all my long form stuff. I didn't have him to do short form stuff. But
is he charging you per video for that?
What were we doing? Yeah, we worked out to like a per video, because we kind of figured like all my videos were between X and X, and maybe I was overpaying for one and underpaying for another. We came out with like an average price. I forget what it was, like 100, or it was like less than $100 a video. It was like 80. Like $80 a video or something.
I think we're $90 right now per video for 2 camera. He's going to chop back and forth, audio cleanup, front and back graphics. I think is what we're paying our other guy right now.
That's about average. I think that's about average. Yeah. Like, I kind of looked around and I talked to some people about it. Because the way I got the Discovery Channel guy, is a buddy of mine locally. So my friend Ken Corsini had an HGTV show. So his camera crew and like his editing crew. So his camera guy, his name's AJ. Lives here locally. AJ like kind of connected me with this other guy. He's like, this is the guy that like does our editing behind the scenes. Like, call him and he'll do that, because AJ's the camera guy. So, and then when the industry changed too, and they were all looking for like extra work too, anyways, because the video industry is changing, the movie industry and all that stuff is changing like rapidly by the day. It's crazy. So AJ's buying houses now. He's not even like doing much camera work anymore. Like he's started a house buying brand. So, other questions?
I got to run. So hopefully everyone's super satisfied. If not, you know where to find Brad.
Yeah, you guys reach out to me whenever.
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
type my number in the chat. Just text me or text me or call me if you guys have a question. That's my personal cell phone number. So,
well, I appreciate you being here, Brad. Thanks for giving us the time, humor us. Holy smokes, man, the office is exploding right now.
boom.
I appreciate you being here. Thank you guys for being here. Hopefully we'll see you next week's call, and I'll be sending out some emails tonight to wrap things up for intensive so we can get you guys all out in Arizona as well.
Cool.
Till
Thanks,
then,
guys.